Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you call people to come.
Okay. We start, huh? Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming. If you would like to sit closer, it's up to you. We'll start now. Okay. It's okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna. Thank you.
Good morning. So we will have some time together here. We'll have some chanting until 10:30, so about 45 minutes, and then we'll have some discussion. Did I say 10:30 or 11:30? Some chanting until 11:30? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Unfortunately, I'm in the process of packing to depart, so my mind is a little scrambled. We need to bring it back with some kirtan and some discussion. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Vastacha Deshatarine Shri Rupa Shri Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadiko Bhaktavrinda. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyata. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's all sing together, one heart. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. And again, one love. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare. And again, let's all sing together. One hand. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. And again, one hand. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Let's all sing together, one voice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And again, one loud. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Go to pray. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna, 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 Hare, 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 Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare. Go to pray. Krishna, Hare, 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 Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare. Hare, 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 Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's all sing together, one voice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Prem se bolo. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And again, one love. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One more time from the heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Let's all raise our arms in the air. Open hearts, full surrender. Sing together in one voice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm going to ask you to do that one more time. This time you're going to share the love. Let's share the love with the world. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt in the world. There's a need for love, for healing. So please send this joy, this love, and this kirtan out to heal the world. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Thank you all. Thank you to these incredible musicians on the stage. Most of all, thanks to you for your chanting from the heart. I could see it was very heartfelt, and I could see it was deeply felt as well. And so that's the reward for all of us, right? We look out and we see you and we see how you're engaged and the heart has been moved. And we're all volunteers, but we feel that's the reward from you, so thank you all very much. I've been asked to speak a little, have a bit of a workshop. So some of you I recognize from a previous discussion we had on the Bhagavad Purana, or Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that discussion we covered the first 3 or 4 chapters of the first canto. It's a very, very extensive work. We discussed a question that is the trigger for the speaking of the Bhagavad Purana, which I will add is the primary bhakti text. We have the Bhagavad Gita, and then we have the Bhagavad Purana. The Bhagavad Purana begins with the question, how can the people of Kali Yuga be delivered? And the immediate answer given was, by this Bhagavatam itself, by this Bhagavad Purana, the people of Kali Yuga will get light. After Krishna has left for his own abode, this Bhagavad Purana has arisen like an incarnation, another reappearance of the divine in the form of Grantha, Grantharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the form of a text or of a book. So there are many manifestations of the divine in the heart, in the mantra, and in the deity. And here we have a manifestation in a book. The Bhagavad Purana and the Bhagavad Gita, they're considered as a manifestation of the divine given to us. And so we discussed how the Bhagavad Purana came to be written, the despondency of Vyasa and the vision that he had. Today I would like to speak to you about the context for its being spoken in an earlier occasion. So the Bhagavatam continues to be told. We are discussing the Bhagavatam now, and there are many, many retellings. So there is an earlier telling of the Bhagavatam that involves the Pandava prince. So you remember the 5 Pandavas? Who are the 5 Pandavas? Arjuna, Yudhisthira, Bhim, Nakula, and Sahadev. That's the Mahabharata, right? The heroes of the Mahabharata. And then in the Bhagavad Gita it is Arjuna who is the person asking questions. In the Bhagavad Purana it is Arjuna's grandson, Parikshit. Parikshit is the one asking questions, and the person who speaks, who responds in the Bhagavad Gita, it's Krishna. In the Bhagavad Purana it is Sukadev, Sukadev Goswami. So also a dialogue. The Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue. The Bhagavad Purana is also a dialogue. So one of the questions asked by the sages of the forest of Naimisharanya, how can people of Kali Yuga be delivered? They also asked, how did Sukadev, the great Sukadev, I'll tell you who he is. He's the son of Vyasadeva. Vyas, the person who compiled the Vedas, his son, his name's Sukadev. How did the great Sukadev come to speak the Bhagavata Purana to Parikshit, the grandson of Arjuna, the grandson of the Pandavas? And so we will discuss that question today. It will give you a nice foundation to the Bhagavat Purana. The Bhagavat Purana is so extensive, we will not be able to cover it in a short discussion, but a discussion like this will give you some entry. And then later, with your own, in your own time, with your own inspiration, you can pursue that more deeply. You can pursue that further, if you wish. It is the primary bhakti text. So how did Sukadev come to speak the Bhagavat Purana to a king? Sukadev is a renunciant. He's a sadhu. He doesn't have anything to do with emperors. How did he come to speak the Bhagavat Purana to the emperor, Parikshit, the grandson of Arjuna and the Pandavas? Before we follow through with this question, I'm going to give you another question to ponder, and it is this. It'll come up again later, so I'm giving it to you now. You can reflect on it, and then we'll come back to it. And the question is this: what would you do if you had 7 days to live? That's a good question, right? What would you do if you had 7 days to live? Maybe someone would like to say what you would do. Yeah? Okay, that's very nice. So a journey of forgiveness and gratitude, so to connect with loved ones and friends and even those that may not be close, but to express forgiveness and gratitude during that period. Thank you. Someone else like to share? What would you do if you knew? We don't know. We may have a year, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, we might have a few days. But if we had 7 days and we knew it was 7 days, what would we do? Yeah.
I'd like to share that time with my closest friends.
Right.
And I would like a lot of live music to be involved.
A lot of which?
Live music.
Live music. Okay. Yeah, all right. Live life to the fullest with close friends and a lot of live music. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you'll take the opportunity to say, yeah, to say goodbye to the nearest and dearest and enjoy those moments. Thank you.
I think whatever the time is left, I would love to self-introspect and get into some kind of a dhyan, go deeper inside and self-realization, so that before I go by whatever the inner journey is left.
Yeah, a time for self-introspection, inner reflection. Thank you for that. Thank you all for your responses. I appreciate your engagement. All right, with that question to the side, we're going to come back to it. I'm going to take you now to a battlefield. We are in Shanti, we are in Rishikesh, but I'm going to take you to a battlefield that is not that far from here. It is called Kurukshetra. Even today, you can visit Kurukshetra. It is the place where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. Who's been to Kurukshetra? Yeah, okay. A few of us have been to Kurukshetra. So we come to this battlefield. It is after the Kurukshetra war. The Kurukshetra war was a fratricidal war between two groups or two parts of one family. They were the Kuru family, and there was an attempt to usurp the throne by one branch of the family, led by Duryodhana. And the rightful claimants to the throne were Yudhisthira. Yudhisthira and then his brothers. We said their names. Arjuna, Bhim, Nakula, Sahadev. So they ruled from a city called Hastinapura. Also not that far from here, a couple of 100 kilometers. Hastinapura. And it is understood, according to Vedic lore, that that was the capital for the world. That's the Vedic understanding. Hastinapura. The rulers of Hastinapura, they ruled the earth from that place. Yudhisthira was supposed to inherit the throne, but his cousin brother, Duryodhana, was trying to take it for himself, and he undertook many assassination efforts to kill his cousins, the 5 Pandavas. That's the story of the Mahabharata. In the end, there is a great war. They make efforts to avert the war, but it is inevitable. There is a war. Yudhisthira wins. Even though he had the smaller army, he wins because he had Krishna on his side. Krishna didn't fight, but he was there as an advisor and as a guide, specifically to Arjuna, Yudhisthira's brother. He became his chariot driver out of love for his friend and his devotee. And just before that war, Arjuna, he had an existential crisis. He said, why are we doing this? So many people will die. I'm going to leave. I'm going to become a sadhu. Maybe in Rishikesh, I will live as a beggar and I will just take what comes to me. I don't want this kingdom if it is with blood. And Krishna, so that's the context for the speaking of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells Arjuna, you're not going to be able to live as a sadhu because you are a prince. The sadhu is one life, but it should be according to our nature. Your nature is to rule and establish Dharma, to establish truth and justice. That is your nature, so you have to situate yourself according to your nature. And Arjuna said, no, but I want to be spiritual. I want to go away from all of this materialism. And so Krishna's essential point in the Gita is you need to learn how to be in the world with a spiritual consciousness, with a spiritual attitude. If you're a cleaner or a cook, if you're a teacher, if you're a pharmacist, whatever your position, you need to be able to engage in that with higher consciousness. Not that we all try to go and become sadhus living in caves. Because the point is sustainability. For a few days in a cave is good. Even then might be challenging for most of us. But long term, we should situate ourselves in a place where we can sustainably elevate consciousness. So for Arjuna, his teaching is that you must learn how to engage in your duty as an offering of devotion. Bhakti. To do what you do, but to do it as an offering of seva. Yat kuroshi, yad ajnasi, yat juhosi, tadasiyat. Yat tapasyasi konteya, tat kurushva, mad arpana. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering of love, of devotional service to me. That's his teaching, bhakti in the Gita. He also tells how to cultivate this consciousness by kirtan. Satatam kirtayantomam yejana paryupasate Tesham nitya biyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Always chanting my glories in Sankirtan. These people, these devotees, these bhaktas, ye jana paryupasate, they become purified. And yogakshemam, they achieve yoga, union with me, mahamyam. They become united with me in yoga. So that's the beginning of this Kurukshetra war. Something happens after the Kurukshetra war. Yudhisthira has won the battle. The kingdom is his. But he has the same dilemma that Arjuna had in the beginning. He doesn't want to sit on the throne. He doesn't want to take the crown. He says, how can I take this, which has been won with so much violence and destruction? I don't want it. So he refuses to sit on the throne. So they have to have another conversation. The conversation that was had with Arjuna before Kurukshetra war has to be had with Yudhisthira after Kurukshetra war. Interestingly, Krishna tries to have the conversation and Yudhisthira still can't get it. He can't accept it. So then Krishna takes him to see his grandfather, Bhishma, wise elderly statesman. And Yudhisthira says to him, he says something very interesting. He says, Yudhisthira, you were born to inherit the throne. You have Bhima as your brother. He is as powerful, they say, as 10,000 elephants. You have Arjuna as your brother, the greatest archer, the greatest warrior on earth. You have Krishna as your friend. And yet still you experience so many hardships in life. Why? Even though you should have been well protected and assured in your claim to the throne and been able to hold that, you experienced much hardship. That's the topic of the Mahabharata. Why? Bhishma says to his great-grandson, he says, this is the will of the divine. Even though you made arrangements and you had good securities, you still struggled. This was the will of the divine. Why? For your growth, for your purification. And it is now the will of the divine that you will sit on the throne. Don't do it for yourself, do it as seva. Do it as your service. If you do it for yourself, then yes, whatever karmic reaction is there will come to you. But if you do it as a duty, like Arjuna had to do at the beginning, right? If you do this as your service, then you are protected. And so with that guidance, Arjuna sat on the throne. But as this was going on, there was a cry from one of the Pandava princesses. Her name was Uttara. Uttara. She had, so let me tell you who she is. She is the wife of the son of Arjuna, Abhimanyu. All the Pandava sons have been killed in the war. There is only one pregnant Uttara. She carries the Pandava heir to the throne. And she comes running to Krishna. Pahi pahi jagatpate, deva deva jagadguru. Save me, Lord of the universe, God of gods. My embryo is under attack. Someone had fired a mystic weapon at her embryo to destroy the last Pandava heir. And as she cried for shelter, divine Krishna entered into her womb and protected that embryo. And it is described that the embryo within the womb saw Krishna providing protection, and was asking in his mind, who is this? Who is this personality so beautiful that is here giving me shelter? And when he was born, he was looking, where is he? Where is he? And so he was given the name Parikshit. Parikshit means the one who asks questions, yeah, the inquirer. He's born with this question, who is he? Where is he? Where is that person that I saw? And so he is born with this curiosity to find the divine. And so he grows, and he's in time he is placed upon the throne. Yudhisthira and his brothers, they leave Hastinapura and they walk through here. Haridwara, Rishikesh, Badri, that's their final walk towards transcendence. They retire from their kingdom and their throne and their kingly responsibilities in their older age, and they just walk into the Himalayas. Some of the temples along this way, they'll say, here the Pandavas did this, here Arjuna did that. They walked along this path. So our next scene then, we are going from the battlefield to, we're going to the rural area outside of Hastinapura. Two nice stories to tell you. Yeah, two nice stories to tell you. And we will come back to that question. What would you do if you had 7 days? Yeah. So one day, Parikshit, now the emperor of the earth, was touring his kingdom, and he came upon a man dressed as a king, but who was not a king. He didn't have the qualities of a king. He didn't have the qualities of service. He was a fake king, yeah. He didn't have the qualities of servitude and justice and courage and strength. It is described that he was the personification of Kali, back to that Kali Yuga, the 4 ages, the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, like the 4 seasons. So in the Vedic scheme, the universe goes through 4 seasons. We are now in the 4th, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. From the golden age to the silver age to the copper age to the iron, yeah, the iron age. The winter, okay, yeah. We can see it like that as well. So this was Kali personified, dressed as a king. What was he doing? He was beating a cow. He was beating a cow and a bull. There's nice symbolism here, because this cow and this bull, they represent, the bull represents Dharma or truth, and the cow represents the earth. And these two were standing on just one leg. The other legs had been broken by Kali. Now these legs, they are very symbolic. The 4 legs of Dharma, or the 4 legs of the earth as well. Anyone know what these 4 legs are? The 4 legs of Dharma.
It's like representing the 4 ages, like the Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. So when there's 4 legs standing, then the Dharma is upheld 100%. And
Yeah.
that's the Satya. And then when there's 3, it's Treta.
Yeah.
2 is Dwapara, and 1 is Kali. So there's only 1/4 of Dharma being upheld in Kali.
Yeah, very good.
And there's actually, I think there's a temple for Lord Shiva somewhere in India. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But it has
Uh-huh.
pillars changed in the different ages, and now only one pillar.
One pillar, yeah. Excellent, yeah, so well done. The 4 legs are strong in the Satya Yuga. One is broken in the Treta, in the Dwapara it's 2. Now in Kali Yuga, just 1 that is weak. The legs that are being broken age by age, they also have other representation. One represents compassion. So this is one of the legs of Dharma, compassion. Another leg represents discipline, austerity, like sense control, yeah? Another leg represents purity. And the 4th leg is satyam, truth. Yeah. So compassion, discipline, yeah, that was austerity. Compassion, discipline, purity, and truth. So 3 legs are broken. 1 leg is standing, very weak. That is the leg of truth. That is our age. Parikshit sees this man beating the cow, and he says, you can't do this. In my kingdom, everyone is under protection. There is Dharma, and you are violating the Dharma here. And the symbolism that by violating the bull and the cow, also Dharma and the earth are also being mistreated. So he says, I must punish you. As the emperor, it is my duty to punish you. Kali, he's very deceptive. He takes his palms and folds them, and he touches the feet of Parikshit and says, I'm your surrendered servant. I am under your shelter. I am under your protection. And there is some custom among the Kshatriyas, among the rulers. If somebody takes shelter, if somebody surrenders, you cannot harm them. So Parikshit, he was in a bind. Another Kshatriya will take the challenge, and there will be some duel. But here, Kali is very deceptive. He's taken shelter of Parikshit. Please, I'm your servant. I'm your subject. So Parikshit said, okay, you are exiled from my kingdom. You must leave. Your punishment is that you are now exiled from the kingdom. But Kali says, where will I go? You rule the entire earth. There is no place for me. You must give me somewhere to stay. So Parikshit gives him a place. And this is interesting. He says, you can reside where there is the slaughter of animals, where there is intoxication, where there is sexual promiscuity, and where there is gambling. Gambling. Those can be your places. You can reside there. There is a correlation between these 4 and the 4 legs. So mercy and compassion, the opposites of the animal cruelty, the animal slaughter, yeah? And then the discipline or the intoxication, it is the opposite to that discipline, the control of the senses. Then the purity, it is the opposite to that sexual promiscuity, when there's no commitment or respect. And the 4th is gambling and truth. Yeah, so there's a relationship between those. So that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, those 4 legs of Dharma, and then there are 4 types of activities that undermine or break the legs of Dharma. Our teacher, Prabhupada, he would require his disciples who take formal initiation to make a vrata, Actually, Gandhi made a similar vrata from his own introspection, that he would avoid meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit sex. So our teacher, he made the similar request, not based on Gandhi, but based on the Bhagavat Purana, that his disciples would hold to or commit to trying to protect Dharma in that way. The most important was the chanting. He said, if you chant, then these other things, it will come to you naturally. If you chant, then your heart will be filled with compassion, it will be filled with purity, there will be discipline, and there will be truth. So start here with the chanting, and then naturally those other, Dharma will become strong. Dharma will become strong in your character, and then naturally that commitment will be there. That was the approach that he taught. Okay, that's one story about Parikshit outside his kingdom, the rural area outside his kingdom. I'm going to tell you one more story related to our question. If you had only 7 days, what would you do? One day he went outside of into the forest. He went out of his city into the forest, and he became lost from the rest of his group, and he became very tired and thirsty, and he found an ashram, and he went inside that ashram hoping to receive some hospitality, a place to sit, some water to drink. But the yogi who was sitting there, deep in his meditation, appeared to ignore the emperor Parikshit. Parikshit thought he was faking, he was pretending to be in meditation, that he didn't have to bother himself to provide hospitality to a guest. And so, very much out of character for Parikshit, he became angry. He became angry at that yogi. And nearby to the ashram, there was a dead snake lying. Parikshit lifted that snake with the edge of his bow and draped it around the yogi's neck like a garland as an insult. It was not his character to behave like this, but in that moment when he was tired and thirsty and lost, sometimes it can bring out our worst, right? That's what he did. And this yogi, his name was Samika Rishi. His son, he had a son who was by the river, by the Ganges. He heard, hey Samika, hey, his name was Shringi. Hey Shringi, your dad has a snake around his neck. He's meditating. He has a snake around his neck like a garland. Shringi was, why? What happened? The emperor, Parikshit, did it. Shringi became very angry and he wanted revenge. He said, this emperor is not qualified to sit on the throne. I will use my Brahminical power to curse this emperor, that he will die in 7 days. Yeah, now we come back. He will die in 7 days by the bite of a snake. A snake will bite him, and he will lose his life. That is the right punishment for this insult of a great yogi. When Samika Rishi heard what his son had done in uttering this curse, he chastised his son. He also sent a disciple to the emperor and said, this is what has happened. You have 7 days. The Brahmanas were very powerful. The yogis were very powerful in that time. Because they only spoke truth, then what they said also became truth. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. Yeah? Because they would only ever speak truth, then their prophetic utterance also became true because nature aligned with the Dharma, the character of that person. And so Parikshit was informed, you have 7 days to live. What did he do? What he did is very instructive for all of us, because we are here in Rishikesh now and we are next to the Ganges. He walked out of his palace, he walked out of his city, which was next to the Ganges river. Hastinapur is a city that sits next to the Ganges. He sat by the Ganges river to meditate and to pray. And he asked that all the great sages, all the great yogis of the world come to be with him, to give him guidance. And among all those sages, and the names that are given in the Bhagavad, they're all the, they are the top-ranking Narada, Vyas, Vashishta, Asita, Devala, and so on. Like the most famous yogis of all time. They were there with Parikshit. And he asked them, the inquirer, the one who asks questions, he asked them, what is the duty of a person who is about to die? Later he reframed the question. What is the duty of those who are about to die and those who live? And as he asked that question, an effulgent personality came into that assembly. He was beautiful, young, just 16 years of age. He was completely detached from material concerns. In fact, he wasn't even wearing clothes. He was dressed only by the directions because he had no consideration of these things. He was being followed by the village children who were laughing at him. Oh, he has no clothes on. But there is something very instructive in his appearance. So his name was Sukadev. He is the son of Vyas. And there's something very wonderful or instructive about his appearance. All the great sages of the universe were present, but he, this young Sukadev, he was the one who was elected by all of them to answer the emperor's question. The youthful Sukadev is the one who is being asked to give the answer. Why? Because he was a bhakti yogi. The other sages represent penance and austerity that may be appropriate for previous ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. They represent jnana, the intellectual dissection of the different elements, and try to arrive at the essential spirit through a philosophical analysis. Those sages represented those paths that were fruitful in previous ages. But now, this is happening at the end of Dwapara Yuga, the beginning of Kali Yuga. Now the youthful Sukadev, he is being asked to give the teaching that will help the people of Kali Yuga. And the answer he gives, he says to engage in Kirtan, essentially. He says, hear about, remember, and glorify the divine. This is the essential duty for those who live and those who'll die. And so for 7 days, Parikshit, he remained by the bank of the Ganges, hearing about, remembering, glorifying, asking questions related to the divine. And so that is the topic of the Bhagavad Purana. But even in the first canto, we've received so much instruction. So let me summarize again then. We visited a few places. We visited a battlefield where Arjuna didn't want to sit on the throne, but also the scene where Parikshit was being carried in his mother's womb, the womb of Uttara. We were at the palace in Hastinapura where Yudhisthira ruled and placed Parikshit on the throne before beginning his journey through Haridwar and Rishikesh and into Badri, into the Himalayas. And then we visited the rural area outside of Parikshit's kingdom, where he met Kali personified, beating the legs of the cow and the bull, representing 4 principles of Dharma: compassion, discipline, purity, and truth. As well as the forest where Parikshit was cursed, and thereafter he fixed his mind, knowing that he had just 7 days to live, to come and sit by the bank of the Ganga and hear about, remember, and glorify Krishna as the duty of those who live and those who die, according to the great Sukadeva. Which brings us to this moment where we are. We are on the bank of the Ganges, in this sacred place of Rishikesh, and we have the opportunity to hear about, remember, and glorify the divine through Kirtan. And so hopefully we have more than 7 days. Hopefully we have many years ahead. But we can take this guidance of the Bhagavad Purana, of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and recognize our good fortune to be here right now in this moment. And at least for as many days as you are in Rishikesh and there is this festival, you can take advantage of this opportunity and to commit to your own practice going forward, whether on the Ganges or whether on the Danube or on the Thames or any other great river, the Mississippi, any river, but you can apply this process and get the effect. Of course, Ganga Devi is very powerful. She helps us, but any time, any place, this process will have, it has great potency and will have great effect. All right, I conclude there with my stories. I thank you for the opportunity to share with you. Are there any questions or reflections? After 7 days, he died. Completely detached. With a snake. He was completely detached. He wasn't, he could have averted the curse. That should be said. But he didn't care to. He accepted this as, this is my destiny. And after hearing for 7 days, he said, I'm ready. Let that snake bite me. I have no fear, no distress. And then his spirit was seen to rise into the spiritual sky, to Vaikuntha. Yeah, good question. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's the 12th canto. But thank you. Yeah, that's right. Good. Yes.
So what Sukhdev said, did it apply to the Kali Yuga only, or we're talking about the devotion and praying for the Lord for the other ages as well? Because right from the Narada Muni and Mahabharata, Hanuman and all, they also used to do japa of Rama and other ages as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's categorically for the Kali Yuga, or is
Very good. Yeah, great question. So the question here is, you're saying that this Bhagavad Bhakti, it is especially suited to people of Kali Yuga, but wasn't it applicable in previous ages as well? Hanuman and others, they're also doing japa, Ram Nam, they're singing the holy names. So were they applying a process that wasn't relevant to their time? And the answer is no. Bhakti is applicable in all ages, in all times, in all circumstances. It's just that the other processes, they had more efficacy in those times because people were more disciplined. They could focus the mind. And so they could achieve a lot more. And the idea is that in Kali Yuga, they've really lost their currency because it's very, very difficult to apply in our time. Whereas Bhakti, it's what remains. Yeah. Thank you. Any last comment or question? I do, yes. Okay, so there's a question here. Do I give Bhagavat classes online? And the answer is yes. Every Monday and every Thursday at 8 a.m. London time on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook and find Sri Prahlad, public figure, musician, something else, then you'll find, and click follow, then you'll get a notification when I come online every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. London time, which is about 1:30 here in India, 1:30 in the afternoon, 1:30 p.m. 6:30 in Sydney, 8:30 in Auckland. We have people coming in from all over the world to participate. Sorry? I live in London, yes. I'm from, it says there on the sign, I'm from New Zealand. I was raised in Australia, but also in India. I went to school in Vrindavan, in Gurukul. And these days I live in London. Yeah. Thank you all very much for this opportunity to share with you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your stay here in Rishikesh and your participation in this festival as well. Thank you. I beg your pardon? I'm leaving now, yeah. I feel the same, yeah? Sadness in the heart.